Tyler here for a quick thought. I'm driving for work today, and I had a couple of ideas, and I thought I would share. We've talked about before, and I've talked to my friend Anthony from Digging for Kryptonite about pronunciations of names, and there's some that always come down to it. Lana, Lana. If you look at what would be the spelling, the name is Lana, Lana, La and Na. But, Lana you'd think would be Lona. But for that, I think it comes down to considering that most of the creators of a lot of these characters were passed away before we got any type of presentation of them in live action or where we're actually hearing these names spoken. And I could be wrong, but I think the first time we get Miss Lang's name would have been in the Superboy pilot that was never aired, the one produced with John Rockwell as Superboy. And in that, he says Lana. Now, let's move forward. And we get to Superboy, the TV series, which at times said Lana and at times said Lana. The Superman the Animated Series episode, he says Lana. Okay. And then, but I think because Smallville, and right now on the top of my head, I have not watched Superman 3 in a very long time. It's no joke that it's my least favorite of the original 4 Superman films. Uh, so I believe it's pronounced Lana in there as well. But I really think it's because we get to Smallville that it gets cemented as Lana. And I think it becomes what you're exposed to, what you choose. The other side, because this is the year of Supergirl, is the Kara and the beauties of the English language. And Kara is how I always heard it because I remember seeing bits and pieces of the Supergirl film, but it didn't cement with me. It wasn't until later when we got the animated series and she appeared, and at that time I was young and I didn't really put together that she wasn't technically his cousin, she, being Kara in Z. But then comes Smallville, which uses Kara. It wasn't until the Melissa Benoist where all of a sudden now it's Kara that, and which was shocking and threw everybody. And I'm not really sure where they pulled that from. And since then, it's been Kara. And I don't know if it's because it has that harder K sound like Kal-El, Kara, I don't know. But the other thing is, I was thinking of this, is Power Girl is Karen. Karen. Why isn't it Karen? Which is a thought. Is it Karen is Power Girl? That's different, right? But it's Karen. So Kara kind of makes a little bit more sense, right? In the sense that Power Girl is supposed to be basically an older, more mature version of the same character from Mark 2. Just thoughts on pronunciations. Just throwing it out there. What do you prefer? Take care.
This is Dan Jurgens, and if you want to have a good time, keep listening to the Krypton Report.
Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action, and you're listening to the Krypton Report.
Welcome to the Krypton Report podcast. I just want it's now a metalcore concert. Just playing people. I'm sorry. I've been talking with a bunch of my old bandmates today, and just like we've been making jokes about stuff and remembering like some of the bands that we had played with that were just like that ridiculous, and especially this one guy we went to college with.
Can you show Mom when you're done?
Go show Mom your awesome Lego, Sayla. I'm trying to podcast with James Cole.
Okay.
Jeez. So it's just been on my mind. But hey, welcome to Krypton Report. We talk about Superman, Supergirl, and all things Kryptonian and DC Comics. I am Tyler, the man of tomorrow, the Superman of blue. And with me, as always, my bestest pal, the Superman of red, Mr. James Man of Steel Cole. What up?
What's going on?
We have a lot to talk about today.
Oh, you know.
We have a lot to talk about. We James and I kind of took like a small break just from recording period. Just we had some stuff. And what's funny is our last episode, it'll all come out in the right timing, but I had to laugh because our last episode, as you might have known, Tyler was complaining about the nothing from why am I drawing a blank, James?
McFarlane.
About
no
this
McFarlane figures for Supergirl.
Yeah, and then the next day they drop
Movie.
all this stuff for Supergirl, and I was like, "Son of a gun!"
Yeah,
I'm like,
it was less than 24 hours later.
so the first thing that I want to before we get into all of our news, a big piece of news that just came out yesterday. I want to say big, but important that a lot of people might not know is Joyce Hummel was the first woman to write Wonder Woman comics. She was born in 1924. She wrote over 70 Wonder Woman stories from 1944 to 47. She died yesterday at 97 years old. Oh wait,
yeah.
No, sorry, I apologize. She died in 2001, but yesterday they were remembering her. So I just got an update because I was like, okay, I got an update on here. That's what kind of threw me. But it is awesome to remember these people who wrote such great classic characters. So it's neat.
Oh yeah,
but
definitely good to remember them.
it's just interesting how many. It was her 5-year anniversary. I got a lot of people sharing it, and I was like, oh man. So it is worth mentioning, you know. The next thing I want to throw out real fast here is I shared on our social media. I had forgotten about the 16-minute short documentary that they had made for Supergirl back in 2023. DC Comics had put out. We shared the link, and I think it's a good, quick history. It's a way of just kind of learning a nice roundabout character, her kind of history, and just kind of feeling her out as far as what she represents over time. I loved it. The only thing I found strikingly odd about it, okay, and this is worth pointing out because I do think it needs to be brought, and I brought it up after this one, is everyone that was talking about Supergirl and writing the character and everything are old white dudes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Old white dudes. And there's some legendary writers in there. Okay. And I will say there is Jim Lee. So that's, not a white guy. But still, the thing is, it's all male perspective. And I think, I'm going to say, men can write great female characters and vice versa. Okay. But not having any female representation of a writer in that interview, I think just shows some issues with how comics are made and the characters that are developed. And I think currently, the current writer is female. Am I correct in that, James Cole?
Sophie Campbell.
Yeah.
Has been writing the Supergirl, the current Supergirl.
So I'm just saying I think that that's an important distinction here. Okay. But just I think it's a great little documentary, though. It really was awesome. So, okay. So I got that out of the way. I want to bring up next. There's no really rhyme or reason to a lot of this news. I'm going to get smallest to the biggest. But this is neat. Batman in concert. So they're going to do Batman 89 in concert in Columbus, Ohio, October 19th. So I want to get tickets for that for the family because our whole goal this year is doing more activities. And I think that'll be pretty sweet to take them to a live orchestra and getting to experience that, but with a score they're familiar with and get to watch the film.
Yeah, and a film they're familiar with as well. So, like, it'll just be a whole new experience.
Exactly. Let's see. I'm trying to find before we get into our McFarland. Oh, I got my first. A friend at work gave me. Her son got his Wendy's kids meal, and they had those little, the DC figures we were talking about, but it was Supergirl, and he didn't want it, so she said I could have it to give to Selah, and it's now just been absorbed into the collection. I'm like Brainiac here.
Is that right? Is that like that the little square one?
Yes. Let's see here. Next, 2 guests have been announced for Superman Celebration. Neva Howe, a.k.a. the new Ma Kent, will be at Superman Celebration, and Tim Daly.
Ooh.
So that's cool. The kids already want to go, and Selah took her Superman shirt, the new one that was getting a little small on her, and we put it to the side, and what it is now, we're going to get anyone we can from the movie to sign it. She got Michaela Hoover to sign it, and we were going to try to go to Motor City to see Frank Grillo, but we didn't get a chance to go when he was there. And so it'd be kind of cool to take that with us to Superman Celebration, and she can get Neva Howe to sign it. James's favorite mock Kent.
My favorite.
Nah, I'm just playing. I did want to share this with you. Wait, hold on, shoot. I gotta share my screen real quick. Because, we went to this comic book store. We were traveling through Dayton. And I had not seen this Godzilla comic book, right? But the cover, it's an older one, is an ode to the death of Superman. Why is it not showing? What the heck? Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold, please. There it is.
Hold on. Oh, nice.
I was like, hold, please. Hold for James Cole. Bling.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
So
I
figured.
that.
All right, what else we got before we get into the big one? Limited edition Hip Pop is a Yellow Sun Lemonade. Is a soda that's going to be coming to the UK for a tie-in for Supergirl. I'm hoping that maybe at Jungle's Gyms, which is a grocery store here that has international food from all over, I'm going to go to Jungle Gyms and see if I can find it.
Oh, nice.
So I'll be driving to Cincinnati,
Oh, dang.
to find this soda. And of course, James, if they have some, I will get you a can.
Oh, yes, please. Pretty please.
Why would I leave you out, James Cole? You're my boy, Blue. You're my boy.
Oh, yeah. I would love to try that. I mean, lemonade's my favorite too, so.
So, let's see here. I think we're getting to the 2 biggins. I think I got people are complaining about the shot right here of Superman on the screen from the Supergirl trailer because his hair looks rough and and I'm like, they're comparing it to Justice League, the mustache at the beginning. I'm like, guys, that's not that bad. Calm down. He looks a little different, but
Not
it'll probably be
close.
I was like, it'll probably be fixed in post. Calm down, okay? They are advertising Superman Day 2026 as Supergirl and the heroic family members of Superman and Crypto. Superman Day, April 18th.
Ooh, nice.
So they are advertising that. I'm hoping that some comic shops will do something cool. Let's see here.
That's a big one.
So before we get into the fun that is the McFarlane work and everything, they released some images from the new Mattel line coming up of toys. Okay? So we're going to start with this Batman figure. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
They call it the mech suit Batman. And, I mean, yeah, mech suit. They can't call it the Hellbat suit for the
but I'm okay. But
Mattel line.
But this is Mattel now, and this is the Superman they're putting out?
It looks like his eyes are glowing red.
But it's the new 52 suit.
It is.
Like, I'm just like, did they take their old molds and tweak it or something? I'm like, what is up with this figure? I'm like, it's going to be small, probably about 5-6 inches maybe. And I'm just looking at it like, the head looks kind of weird. But you can attach like heat vision to his eyes, which is cool. But my thing is, why is it the new 52 suit? Like, we've been through so many suits since then, and like, the movie has the trunks. The comics have the trunks. Why are you putting out a new figure that doesn't have the trunks?
I mean, to
Yes.
sell a new figure.
Yes, James, you are just as baffled as I am.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sell a new figure, you know? How many Superman toys have heat vision blast?
Well, I mean, the heat vision blast, I'm totally for. But the new 52, I mean, dude, it's 2026, man. That ended in 10 years ago, you know? But I digress. Yes. Rebirth was in 2026 or 2016, sorry.
He didn't get the trunks back until Bendis.
No, which would have been but at least, I mean, give us the reborn suit, you know what I'm saying? If you're going to do that.
Yeah.
But the trunks came back in what, 2018? 2018?
Right. Well, I mean, the new movie has a collar, so it's kind of, you know, reminiscent of the new movie in a way.
Oh yeah, you're going to the collar, James. That's your the collar, Tyler. He has the collar.
Well, and everybody's going to go for the trunks because it matters that he wears his underwear on the outside.
April 9th, McFarlane Toys. Pre-order the Superman Returns Brandon Routh figure.
That is sick. I like that they reenacted the best poster ever for Superman.
But see, that's my favorite.
That's the best poster ever for any Superman.
Yes, it is. It is. I have like a screen printed cloth version of it. I would love to have the actual but I am excited. And on that same day, we get the Melissa Benoist Supergirl Deluxe Theatrical figure. Will also be released. And it's the original costume from the TV show. And I'm actually really looking forward to watching some of the original first season again. Because I miss it. And it was just a different feel from what we got later. But that's going to be dope. We're getting that. And here's another shot of it. Right there. All the different hands. And it comes with an extra face.
Even heat vision.
I have that poster hanging up in my room right here of her. It's on my ceiling, actually. I'm running out of wall space. I had to put stuff on my ceiling. So I'm excited to get that because I don't know, like, it'll be cool to have 3 McFarlanes. Like, I have the Sasha Calle, Flash Supergirl, and then to have the TV show, and, you know, all we need is a Smallville and original Helen Slater, and I'll have all the live actions in McFarlane forms. But let's look at all the versions of Supergirl that's coming to McFarlane. We have the like high quality photo. This is the, I guess what you'd consider like the basic figure for Supergirl here.
Okay.
And then we have another shot. The head sculpt looks great right there.
It does. I like it. Yeah. More of a serious look on her face too.
And then this is the deluxe, because the deluxe version is going to have the sword. And then the Walmart version has her. It's a special Walmart Gold Edition. Has Crypto with her and the brown jacket. And I'm trying to look at my Crypto right here. It looks like it's pretty much the same Crypto figure that came with Superman last year.
Makes sense.
They're like, we're not building a new mold for that fucking dog. Just put it in the same box. I'm hoping that someone during this whole thing, as the toys get revealed, we will get a new Crypto figure. So here's another shot of the deluxe edition with Crypto. And then the deluxe edition, though, Crypto doesn't have the cape because it's puppy Crypto.
Oh, they got a puppy Crypto. That's how they got you.
So
With the new puppy.
see, and that's how they're going to get Levi.
It's fun, yeah, right. It's funny that they've got Crypto is our through line from Superman to Supergirl.
Yeah,
It's gonna bring everybody right over.
and this is the one I pre-ordered from Amazon right here, just the basic figure. I'll probably might buy the deluxe version later, but I'm just, I would like a really good Crypto toy. And then here is a more advanced Japanese 1/9 scale figure. And what I find interesting, this isn't McFarlane, but the head sculpt I find isn't as good. I mean, it looks great as Supergirl, but as far as like movie Supergirl, it doesn't look as much like her as those last figures did.
It's funny with faces, some with amazing detail, and the faces are just a little bit not exactly right.
Now we have our Krem from the Yellow Hills. Nice photo here. And then his like boxed figure. And guess who isn't buying this? Me or Levi?
Oh, no?
No, he looks like crap. He looks like he's from Star Trek. I would prefer
Like
something that looks more like, not exactly like his comic book counterpart, but this looks like he just walked off stage at a Guar concert or something. I just feel like it could have been better. All right, now for the main man, the Lobo figure.
All right.
Which he looks great, except his pants with the boots make me think that he's hanging out with Gene Simmons. Okay. And then here is him with his cycle. This figure has sold out at like every retailer for pre-order that I saw. So it was out pretty quick. They will be selling the cycle by itself. So that's pretty neat.
Well, at least you can, get them. Try and get them that way. Hunt them down separately.
So here's the figure. His card looks horrible over here. I might get Lobo. Like, I'm not against getting Lobo. I was going to pre-order it at the same time, but it was sold out. It's a deluxe edition. But
I mean, if I come across it, I'm probably gonna snag it up.
well, I thought about you the other day because where were we? We were at a different GameStop, and they have the the Batman, the Bane from The Dark Knight. In
Okay.
now, where it's not the Build-A-Figure, it's the figure by itself. And I'm just kind of like, oh man, I'm like, I need to get that for James. Because that's James right there. He loves Bane. That's his man. That's his character.
Oh yes, yes. I'm tempted to drop some money, but to find like one of those.
James is like, I'm tempted to drop some cheddar.
Yeah, find one of those Nightfall Banes or the first run. On that first run, it's like last I saw it was like $125 for the figure.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those early McFarlane mega figs, and they were pretty. It looked awesome.
That's what every woman has ever said who's met James. He looks awesome. And then the last but not least, we got the new Supergirl poster, which I'm a little bummed because this poster is awesome, and I now feel like I need to buy this for my office and replace it. Because in my office, I have the Lookout one. Then here in my room, I have the other one, and now there's this one. And I'm like, damn it! I'm like, this one's cool. She's like down, and it looks very heroic. And I think it's neat because it's kind of...
It's like superhero pose.
Yeah, like if you look at... it's like it tells a story. It's how she grows. You know? Like, it's like an evolution. That's the word I was looking for. Of her.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. Like, I think it's pretty rad. Excuse me. Excuse Tom. But yeah, that's all the news. And then we got to talk about the trailer. So, here at Krypton Report... we are going to pause and go watch the trailer, and we'll be right back. And we're back, and we have a special voice. Say it. Your thoughts on the trailer. Go.
You guys, the people that created this better not kill that freaking dog. If they kill that dog, I will be so freaking mad.
You heard it there. What else do you think about the trailer, Sayla?
I think it's pretty good. I mean, I can't wait to experience Lobo more and see Aquaman play Lobo.
Yeah.
I think he'll be doing great at it, you know. But yeah, I thought it was really good. But just don't kill the freaking dog. Don't kill him.
All right, you heard it there.
Barely even seen him.
Don't kill the freaking dog.
Don't kill Crypto.
I don't think they will. It's just going to be that thing that, like, perfect save the cat right there.
And it scares everybody, yeah.
So.
I like how they made Superman and then they made Supergirl the year after.
Yes, I do too. And then next year, Superman again.
So, and then the next year will be Supergirl again.
All right. Well, Sayla, it's bedtime for the Sayla.
Yeah, but I was just watching the trailer and telling you guys my thoughts. Don't kill the freaking dog.
That's gonna be the title.
Worst movie. If Crypto dies, it'll be the worst movie ever.
Yes.
That's what we're gonna name this episode. Supergirl trailer reaction. Don't kill the freaking dog.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey guys.
So the trailer has been out, and it's just funny because last time James and I got to record was we talked about, we got the tease that the trailer was coming, and we couldn't get it in our schedules to record right away for the actual trailer. So I like this trailer better. That's what I'm gonna say first. First of all, I do want to say, James, you have not read Woman of Tomorrow yet, have you?
No.
Okay.
No, I read the first 2 issues. I have the whole run. But...
So, which is great because I've read it, but like, I get really hung up when people look for one-to-one stuff. Because, I mean, they changed the name to this from Supergirl, Superwoman, Woman Tomorrow, whatever they were going to actually go with, you know, to just Supergirl. And it's kind of, I've said this enough, but it's not a one-to-one. When you do a movie, they're going to take inspiration or use something, but they're not going to translate every detail. You know, and there's definitely differences, and I won't point them out so that when you and I get to read the book here soon together, we can talk about it more. But just as a trailer, I mean, showing the way this starts with Clark calling her to check on her, and she calls him Clark too.
Yeah.
We see Krimholtz as Zor-El, which I'm really hoping for some really good Krimholtz Zor-El.
Yeah, I'm hoping we get a little bit of him. It looks like there is definitely some time in Argo City, whether it's bottled or a piece of Krypton in space or whatever the story may be.
Yeah. Do you
but
think
I hope we get to see him a little bit? We get to see multiple shots in that city.
Do you think that Krypton's going to be like sprinkled throughout? Or do you think it's going to be like a prologue at the beginning, or do you think it's going to be like we're going to experience it throughout the movie?
Yeah. I probably am thinking that it's probably going to be more of a prologue with maybe another something later on.
Cool.
But not multiples. Not more than 2 like that.
I like how in the trailer we see Kara's got her own ship, and we find out I like that Crypto in this is her dog. It's a nice little mix up.
Yeah. And the thing that I like about everything that they've done so far is like the science fiction angle.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the characters they've chosen to use so far throughout the majority of the DC universe. I mean, barring the creature commandos with maybe a little bit of mysticism over there, but it's mostly in the science fiction angle.
I mean, think about it.
Deep into it.
Who do we have in the Justice Gang? If we're just looking at the movies, we don't know Hot Girl's story. She could be from Thanagar. Okay, we know that Green Lantern's alien connected.
Yep.
Mr. Terrific's Earthbound, but for the most part, it's very cosmic from the beginning. But I like that it's from director Craig Gillespie. I like that we're talking about the director. I like Craig Gillespie as a director. I've seen, I don't know if I've seen all of his work, but I've seen some good stuff. So I saw Cruella, which I liked, but he did the remake, which I think is better, Fright Night, the Anton Yelchin remake, So I really liked that. I liked I, Tanya with Margot Robbie and Sebastian Stan.
Okay.
So hold on, I'm pulling up his stuff right here. My computer.
Lars and the Real Girl, Fright Night,
Saw that.
Tanya, Cruella. Those are probably, his
I
biggest
saw
claims
Lars.
to fame, especially modern.
Yep. He's done TV work. He did a couple episodes of Pam. Oh, he was an executive producer. I said, man, stupid. I told IMDb I just wanted his directing credits. Stupid IMDb. The Finest Hours. I saw that. It's got my man in it, Chris Pine. So, I might have seen some of his TV stuff because I've seen some of these shows. Mr. Woodcock, I saw. It's not a great movie, but I feel like that was one. Sean William Scott. My brother brought that home from Blockbuster. But Lars and the Real Girl, I thought was really good. Fright Night, I really liked. I'm actually going to introduce that to Solomon this fall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Trooper, not sure. I didn't see that. I didn't see $1 Million Arm, but I saw parts of it. The Finest Hours, saw that. I, Tanya, saw that. Cruella, saw that. And like I said, he's got some TV and stuff. I didn't see Dumb Money, but I wanted to. I just didn't get around to it yet. So I think the guy's got some good films under his belt. And, you know, he's definitely a filmmaker that I might not have known his name when you first said it. But then when you tell me what he's done, I'm like, yeah, I'm in. Like, so the fact that he's doing this, I think I'm excited about this just because it's not James Gunn, not written or directed by.
Yeah. I like
You
that
know,
too.
the big catalyst for this story here is Ruthie and her journey for vengeance. And so many of the trailers have shown Kara as like the party girl, but this is the first one that kind of sets her up, you know, and she says vengeance won't, she says it here later, but
Yeah. She's definitely more of a person who's, you know, missing, who lost her whole world.
and it looks like in one of the clips, it looks like it's her mother, Alora's funeral that we're seeing on Krypton or on Argo City. So it really looks like it's Alora's funeral.
Yeah, I was
And
afraid that that's what I was seeing as well.
because she's really gonna get into like all the pain and stuff that she suffered, and how she is different than Clark. That's why I really hope she does show up in Man of Tomorrow, because I want to see them two more together. But then, of course, we get our first real look at Momoa. You know, he gets a couple lines of dialogue. We see some action with him. We get to see her in action in the suit. What looks like on Krim's ship. Looks like maybe she got poisoned at some point, because she's got like veins. Maybe it's kryptonite poisoning.
That the black veins or something that were coming up her.
But I like the way they do her heat vision when you see her just kind of angry.
Yeah, the space shots are looking really cool. Her flying through space, just the zero gravity, her moving through space with the things exploding around her. Like when she leaves the atmosphere, that also looked really cool.
So yeah, I'm so in. And like, I'm not going to dissect the trailer too much because, you know, I don't want to be like, oh, this is like in the book or this is this. I'm just looking like this is a beautifully done trailer and looking film. And,
Yeah, and I think it got the story point kind of across here. You know, I think you can maybe glean that Ruthie angle, wanting revenge.
mm-hmm.
From the story, you can definitely glean that Supergirl.
Suffered
They
tragedy.
they get it. Yeah, suffers tragedy her whole life, but also, you know, the only thing she has left, which is her dog, is on a ticking clock.
So my mother-in-law saw the trailer, and she messaged me like, I want to go with you guys. And I was like, of course, I already planned on it. Like,
Nice.
but what was neat, I was at my parents' house for Easter, and my dad's watching TV because my dad still has cable. Cable, kids, if you're not familiar, is this type of TV broadcast system. And what was neat is like it showed like a TV spot / trailer for this. It says new trailer online. I was like, that's how they get you. They just show you the TV spot real quick, then say, go out online.
Yep. Go find it.
Yeah. Surprised it's just not like 3 seconds and a QR code. Pff, Supergirl.
I know. QR code's up there for 5 seconds. The teaser's 3 seconds.
So, yeah, we're in. Like, we don't have to sell it to us. We're excited. I like my daughter's reaction because the idea of powerful, prominent female heroes in cinema, in stories, period, that aren't. Because I was telling her, what were we talking about the other day? What was it that kind of. We were talking about older movies and female roles and how so many times they were either the love interest or the damsel in distress, and they weren't really well done characters. And I wish I could remember right now what we were discussing. But I think it's important, for her to see, female empowerment that doesn't have to be because she's attractive or she's selling her body or it's all, from a sexual. It's just because her character is what it is, who she
Right.
is. So I think that's very important.
Absolutely. Defined by her achievements.
My little girl just had her birthday recently, and I told her, I said, the one thing is I want her to always know is that she helps make me a better person and a better man. And it's important that, that's reflected through me, but that we can find positive things together. So, but all right, enough of me just talking about my daughter's awesomeness and Supergirl. Let's talk about some more Kara Zor-El. And we're going to, so this was usually, how we always do our first month. This would have been last week's, but we did our special KO episode. And we're going to talk about Volume 1, where it kicks off with the Jeff Loeb writing after coming out of the Batman Superman that we finished up last week. We come into the Jeff Loeb and section and Volume 1, and I'll let James take it from here to start us off.
Kara's living on Themyscira right now, and she's kind of doing things as Supergirl, saving the day, and Batman and Superman are monitoring her. So is Diana, just while she's living there, obviously, and she's also being watched by the Calculator, who is working for Lex, keeping tabs on Kara, basically staging all of the saves that she goes through. Batgirl showing up, being Clayface, Harley and Ivy committing a bank robbery.
And is it Ian or Ian Churchill is doing the art? Am I pronouncing that correctly? And it's amazing. Like, I really love the art. The first issue ends with Lex Luthor in a power suit with basically the Infinity Gauntlet of Kryptonite.
I kind of thought the same thing. Like, that's just like an Infinity Gauntlet.
Even the way he's like got his hand and holding it and everything, it made me chuckle.
Right. Yeah, the art is fantastic.
The second issue, I'll take over here. It gives us it's her talking with Stargirl, and I do like that Kara and Stargirl are forming this friendship. And we get throughout this story, like, sprinkled why she was naked when she arrived. Because we kind of had a point about, like, why are they just kind of doing this, like, to, hit on the, oh, she's a woman, But it was because her ship was made to reflect more solar energy and things so that she could absorb more. And I was like, okay. So they gave us an explanation on that.
Yeah. The most exposure.
And I was like, okay, I'll allow it. Like, like I said before, I'm not prudish or anything, but it's like I just feel like they've exploited, females quite a lot in, especially like I like the artwork, but some of the shots with her, like throughout this, there were a couple of times where they literally draw like up her skirt, and I'm like, really, guys, seriously? Like,
Yeah,
were we
and
that
then you
thirsty in
get
the early
Power
2000s?
Girl in a lot of
Yeah.
this.
And then we
So
get Power Girl. Okay, so Power Girl shows up in this issue,
I
and I
do
was like, kind
like.
of,
Well, before we go there, I do like in this second issue here where we got like her crashing into the Gotham Harbor and from her point of view, her seeing Batman and swimming away. So it wasn't just like her like completely out of it. She at least had some sense of her surroundings and everything.
yes.
And I like that they pulled that into the movie when they did it that.
See, this is us putting it all together. Now we're putting it all together. But so Power Girl shows up, right? And she's wearing her Power Girl suit, but like they exaggerate what I would call the swashbuckling pirate boots that look horrible. And then her belt is actually like on her crotch. And I'm just kind of like, wow.
Yeah, it's not on her waist. It's way down low on her hips.
And, Supergirl punches me. And this is where we get them communicating together. And they basically, this issue I think could have been so much better because, Power Girl's supposed to be an older card. Like, who are you? What are you? And it's basically, this is where that whole JSA at the same time and place causes problems. And Power Girl and Supergirl kind of fight against each other. And Mr. Terrific explains it basically as two entities trying to occupy the same space. And then she flies off to the farm, runs into Superboy Connor. And that was it. And I was kind of depressed because I wanted more of like her and Power Girl to kind of fix this issue. Of like, how do you have Kara that means so much when Power Girl exists at the same time?
Right. Well, even in that regard, I was kind of thinking like, what are they going to talk about with each other? And in this issue, they don't really go into that. And it's in this issue when they're near each other, there's like this crazy power flare up and this hostility, and they ended up fighting. No explanation really. And then the next time you see them again, they're together and they're just doing their thing, but there's never an explanation as to why they're together now, except for maybe they just both got used to it.
I did not sit down because I'm just going to say, like, spoiler alert. I was waiting on James. I was waiting and waiting. So I just read the whole run. And I got a couple of notes just about the run in general because, I have no life.
Do you?
Yeah. I have no life and I just read everything. So, but no, I agree because I think, and I didn't, like I said, I didn't sit down, but like during this time, we do have Infinite Crisis happen during part of this run. And I feel like what we've run into with a lot, of these where we're reading in trades is there certain elements or bigger picture things that happen outside the trades that aren't mentioned, referenced, or anything. And we feel it.
Okay.
And you can't really put your finger
Infinite
down.
Crisis did happen at this point because I know where
some point in this run.
Yeah, well, because I know when we're reading our older Jeff Loeb books, those ones were a little bit older than this, and they don't. And we determined that was a decent amount of time before Infinite Crisis, a few years.
But because like we have the Loeb stuff here that works, and we'll get more. But like here we have her and Superboy Connor fighting because he won't listen. But this is also because this is his fallout from what is it, Jeff Johns, where he embraced his
From Titans when he was the Lex side of himself or whatever.
yeah. So he's out at the, and then right as Connor and Supergirl start to talk, boom, Raven, Vic Stone, and Cassie Sandsmark show up and Beast Boy and start fighting with Connor, and then Supergirl, basically has this really weird like. This one page of Supergirl standing there with the lasso and Cassie Sandsmark on the ground really looks like she broke her head and her neck, and she's hanging backwards.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those like awkward proportion drawings.
Right.
You're like, I don't think it would work like that. But
yeah,
anyways.
I don't quite think her head. Yeah. I think she'd have more of the arch. But
and
anyways.
then because then we get Starfire shows up, and we have, is it here or no? It's another issue a little bit. Starfire shows up, and it's cool because her and Kara go to talk, and then we see Lex. And then the next issue picks up where she's with the Titans or the Outsiders.
With the Outsiders.
Yeah, because Starfire came and got her, and I was like, "What is going on? I feel like I missed something." And then there's Nightwing. And, of course, she falls in love with Dick Grayson. Because what woman in the DC universe doesn't love Dick Grayson? And then she finds Luthor. She goes to fight him. He uses the kryptonite on her. He uses black kryptonite. And this is where we get the famous, he creates the black-suited Kara. And I was like, okay, this is cool. And then he starts to beat up on her, but then she beats up on him. Basically crushes his hand. And during this with the black suited, like we see Jon Stewart and stuff, is when they start to plant the seed about this darker side of her. And it feels like it's kind of alluding back to maybe when she was with Darkseid. But black suited Supergirl fights Hawkman, Black Canary, the Flash on the moon, and Supergirl even tricks Flash into running outside where he can't breathe. Martian Manhunter, and then regular Kara shows up and they start fighting each other, which is dope. But this is where we get hardcore. This is where we find out why she was naked, the Supergirl power. And we start talking about like her backstory, a little bit of the whole thing about how black suited Supergirl is kind of her dark side, not the character, her evil side or whatever, and that Zor-El actually sent her to kill Kal, and Zor-El's evil.
Yeah. Well, part of the thing is like the crystal that she has is like meant to keep her innocent, hide her inner like darkness, her programming or whatever to kill Kal-El when she gets there. So it's kind of like he messed with her head via whatever, subliminal stuff during her suspended animation travel. Like he screwed with her mind.
And that's where this whole story gets crazy. So now we have the two cars battling. Superman and Wonder Woman are there battling as well. And Batman shows up with his kryptonite ring like a baller. Because that's what Batman does. And they basically use the lasso and fuse them back together. And then after this issue, I don't know what the hell happens. Because all of a sudden now we're with Supergirl and Power Girl in this weird Kandor story.
Yeah.
And now it's Greg Rucka. And like Supergirl's getting a tattoo. Kara is. They're Flamebird and Nightwing. And I completely checked out of this. I'll be honest. I didn't know which way was up, what was going on. I felt like I just been betrayed by my story I was reading.
Well, this seems definitely like maybe after the crisis
Or
because what
during.
we've got is like, or during, we've got Ultraman is he's being mind controlled, at least made to think like he's Kal-El in some form or fashion, but he's still brutal and violent, and he's a killer and everything. Um, and they're subjugating people in Kandor, but I'm not sure where Kandor is
Right.
or
Exactly.
or what's going on at this moment because yeah, I don't.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I am so lost by this story. Like, and then
um,
we,
I mean, it just it's jarring, you know. Supergirl ultimately she gets hit with some mind control all of a sudden, and then it's a whole different issue.
and then when we get out, Supergirl's in this apartment, and the next one's called Big Girl Small World, and this is where she's back with Power Girl again, and they don't seem to be having the same effects, and she's back on the farm at parts, and I'm like, okay, I like this, but this is when we start seeing that Zarel maybe murdered her mother, and she's wearing like a Connor shirt she rips up as a belly shirt, and she has a new man friend who's older than her. And then she decides to, go to high school in Joe Kelly's Secret Identity. I'm like, where am I? I'm like, what is going on? Just like James. James is flabbergasted. He doesn't
Well,
know what's
I
going
mean,
on.
you jumped into the next issue, like so you went from one issue to the next one. I
But
mean,
it's just,
this issue is just
it's the tone of like she's in
well,
this
I mean,
with
from issue to
Cassie.
issue, it really jumps from one spot to the next. I mean, because
Exactly.
with her and Power Girl, they talk about just being on Candor where they were, and then they
Exactly.
separate from there. And then she's out with this guy who is Boomer. I'm not sure
Yep.
who that character is, but
Boomer.
he's with the Outsiders, and he's a friend of hers. She's seeing some time with the Kents. She's just spending some time with herself. She even talks to Batman about like doing work, doing business, or whatever. If she needs any money, that him and Diana have money set aside for her. But she wants to do things, make her own way a little bit, and but in the end, she's like, because she says, "Hold that thought," and he says, "Trouble, I thought you quit the super thing." She said, "Never. I'm just doing it my way." And I mean, yeah, I think she saved a little girl from getting run over by a truck.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something that she learns too as she goes through this story, about it's not about saving the world for her, especially just not even knowing who she is. It's just about being there to help. And that's kind of like what I got from this whole story.
Cool.
Is
Sweet.
is her wanting to stop, not know what she's doing, if she's good or bad. Is she her programming? Does she want a different life for herself? And does she even want to be Supergirl? And I think ultimately she does, and she just wants, like I said, she just wants to help. And I think that's a good place to start her, especially with her first volume, but this is 2+ arcs.
Yeah. And that's where I feel like there's something amiss with just the pacing and continuity of this collection. I mean, because it feels like she's
Well,
all of a sudden she's in high school, and we get these flashbacks to her being bullied on Krypton in high school. But then it seems like at times out of school. And this is a really interesting issue, I think, just period, because of her being bullied and trying to fit in, trying to bring another girl in to fit in, but then following the quote unquote leader, you know, of like the group of girls, and then how they play a trick and prank on her. I mean, it's a very mean girl type layered issue.
yeah.
And then we see that with things that happen on Krypton. And then we have the big reveal at the end of, after they've all picked on her at school, she reveals that she's Supergirl and she's leaving.
Right. Well, it's
And
weird
her
because we
name's
go
Claire.
from part. Yeah. I don't remember her last name, but they go from Greg Rucka writes the first issue, and then it's Joe Kelly. So it's like
Yeah.
going from like going from Candor, whatever story's going on here, uh, back to Earth, and you know her trying different places.
And it's like, it makes me wonder, like, I know the character was having trouble fitting in, but it makes me wonder if like the writers were having trouble figuring out where to really take her. Because the next issue is bonkers. With like her at the club and the dinosaur looking thing, and then back to her apartment with Boomer, who's obviously older than her, but then she's, like a teenager who lives on her own.
Right.
And,
Well,
and
this
that's
is
the
Jimmy
issue.
Palmiotti and Amanda Condor. So, I mean, this is their style.
But I do want to say that, throughout this, there are some, they really make Zor-El evil for a while. And they talk about him and Jor-El being like Cain and Abel. Let's see.
Is that further down in the run?
Yeah, and this is just like highlights further into the run of like, this felt like a lot of short arcs instead of like a long narrative for her. But like I said, Infinite Crisis definitely happened to this. But we have this whole thing with the phantoms and the crystals that they fight with, and then they have like this. It had to be after Infinite Crisis because they completely reboot in a way who Zor-El is and his whole history and style with her, and the whole evil Kara sent to, like, she didn't kill her mom, I guess, and she didn't, wasn't there to sent to kill Kal-El. Like this Zor-El was making everything about. We get an explanation, like I said, about her, why she was naked in the ship, but also like there was dialogue. I had to put my dad, like the whole bare midriff and like the underwear is like, she's technically supposed to be a child, and like you're oversexing her here. There is, where is it? There's a line that Lex says, "Not impressive," talking about her chest. Once again, she's a child.
Right.
And there was, I think it's later on we get with the Connor where you have, it's Robin and Kid Flash both looking up at Supergirl up her skirt, and they're both like, "This is a good view." So just, I don't know, man. I'm an old grumpy guy who's trying to protect the young innocent women, girls. What can I say? I have a daughter.
Right.
Gotta protect her. But and then it does towards the end get really cool because she and Lana develop a really great relationship, and she actually becomes Linda Lang and operates as at the Daily Planet with Lana as her like under her family as Linda Lang. And I thought that was neat. She moves in with her. They have a strong bond. And I kind of wish, Loeb had wrote more for her.
Yeah, he
But
only writes the first arc.
and that's what kind of bummed me out, because I was expecting a lot more.
He set up some things that I think other writers might have explored, with the darkness inside of her, maybe the Jor-El rivalry.
But I just feel like it just did not. I don't want to say translate, or I feel like you have a bunch of writers trying to do with this what they have been doing in like the super books. That we've explored the triangle era and everything.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's working. I think that no one has a clear vision of who this character is and what they want to do with her.
Yeah. This run is 67 issues.
Yep, did them all.
Yeah. Couple of
Yep.
annuals, I'm sure.
Yep. And I'm at a part where I'm like, thinking like as we review things, like I might just start reading the individual issues, because I feel like I get a little bit more sense of where and what's going on than doing it in a trade. Because the trades aren't always like grouped for the story.
Gotcha.
Like sometimes you don't really understand what's happening between. So I don't know, man.
That makes sense. Because some of the trades are like that. Some of them are just issues in order, and some of them are like a collection of stories that grab from different runs, especially if they're crossovers and stuff.
So, but I'm liking the idea, like, because one of the big things that Loeb, when he brought Kara back properly, was the idea of her being older, and that her goal was to take care of this baby, and she doesn't have that anymore. And I think that was a very nice newly added layer to the Supergirl story. What you think?
Sorry, what was that?
Just about like the idea about Kara, where Loeb had introduced the effects that Kara was sent to, raise him. She was older, she was sent to raise him, and then when she gets here, she is older than he is, or he's older than her, and now she kind of is without a mission.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's been I'm sure that's part of a complication, but also then they add in this whole dark side story, not dark side, but her dark side.
Right. And I don't like this whole evil Zor-El thing they tried to go down. And like I said, it doesn't really feel like it doesn't feel like it gets resolved. It just feels like all of a sudden there was like some sort of, I don't want to say reboot, but something happens that ties in, and then all of a sudden we're like in a different place, and we're like, oh. And reading it like here without any other kind of context, it throws me. But I am enjoying reading all this Supergirl stuff. As we
it is a nice dive.
And like, yes, we've avoided like a lot of the 90s stuff because we wanted to focus on Kara based Supergirl stories and not the Matrix, even though we did take out those couple of things that neither of us had read before for Convergence,
Right.
Good old
Matrix. Yeah, Infinite Crisis starts in 2005, so.
Yep. We're right in here.
Yeah, right in there. But and they had this, I mean, they drew directly from this on Smallville.
Mm-hmm.
With Zor-El and Kara.
Yes, they did. And I mean, I'd have to go look up what episodes that Loeb wrote.
Yeah.
So
I know he did some, so I'm wondering if he did some in season 7 there with Kara.
and season 7 be what? It's 2007, right? Yeah, right? No. Yeah.
It started in 2001, so it was the 01-02 season.
Yeah, so season 7 started in 07, which is the writer's
Yeah.
strike.
Yep.
Yeah, look at us sounding old trying to go backwards. But that's what we got, man. Like I am pumped for this movie. I'm excited that this character is getting the spotlight. And it's not just, oh, it's girl Superman.
Oh yeah,
And
full on her own character.
so I am excited to see what we get. I wish that, I don't know, there's just been better handling of Supergirl in the past, because I feel like she's one of those characters that doesn't always get the break, but we've gotten more with her. I mean, just in our lifetime, dude, we've gotten, if we look at the short spirit of like Smallville, from Smallville, we have Smallville, the TV series, The Flash, and this. And I mean, that's pretty rad.
Definitely. I mean, heck, when I came on the show, we were covering Supergirl.
Yeah. And now here we are, covering Supergirl.
Yeah. Coming through the CW show and everything, like it's pretty awesome that it's come full circle like this.
Yes, it is. So, all right, everybody. That's what we got.
From what I can tell, Jeff Loeb only wrote for seasons 2, 3, and 4.
Really? I thought he did. He came back, but maybe not. Well, they definitely were inspired by him.
I want to take a moment and just reflect a little bit more on the Supergirl run. I didn't get to say everything I wanted to the other night with James and I doing the issues because I was really tired. I've been dealing with a lot. For those who don't know, my wife and son were in a really bad car accident. They came away fine. My wife with some bruises. We had to total our new van that we bought, and there's been some other things that happened. And it's just really worn me down between work and some life. And sometimes James and I don't get to record till a lot later than we really want to. But I also want to highlight some things. Uh, our buddy Anthony, you guys know from Digging for Kryptonite, just did an amazing interview with Sterling Gates about his Supergirl run, and that's part of what I want to talk about. Is the Supergirl run is so interesting because you have these writers come in. Jeff Loeb does his little arc, then you have writers built off of that. And I mentioned how they did the Dark Zor-El, and then they kind of retcon that, and they bring back the good Zor-El, more pre-crisis style, so original Golden Age-ish Zor-El look and style. And I I like that, but like they make Kara evil for a while, or she's supposed to be a 16-year-old kid who's bouncing around without any kind of guidance or supervision for a while in her old apartment. And and one thing Sterling said that I really liked, I hit on, is they really took a character that is supposed to be about female empowerment, and they got an artist and everything. They just made the Supergirl book a TNA book. And I was recently on the Capes and Lunatics podcast, and we were reviewing the Jeff Loeb arc, which um, where she returns, Kara does, and then we talked about it, about the same thing. Is like they over sexualize this character in the art, in the drawings, in everything, to where it really made that's what that book was about. You, even though their story is great and this emotion that she's going, there's even written in jokes about it, and there's stuff that just reading I feel is very distasteful for this character because you're reducing this character down to just that she's a half naked female. And that bothers me because then it makes me feel like if I'm reading this, then I'm being, judged or whatever, looked at like, oh, you're just looking at the art. No, I'm not. It's a good story. It's a good character. And then it feels like I can't give this book to a child or a teenage girl to read because then it's like, once again, it's another way of reinforcing the stereotypes that they put on female beauty and female standards when Kara should be a very accessible character to girls to read and align with. Um, so that's my piece on that. But I really like where Sterling Gates takes the story, where he finds a way to balance her. So many of these little parts of the story take her in these crazy places that, reading trades is something I love, but then I realize that so many of these trades are designed that I feel like I'm missing chunks of the story. And I guess the only way to really enjoy the story is to find what it is through the numbering, like on the app, because at this time we are in the last breath of the Triangle era where we're fading out. We're approaching Infinite Crisis, which is a big important point because it's sometime after that the Supergirl book gets better because they really take it to a dark place for a little bit. And then we have the Superwoman stuff with Lucy Lane that I think Sterling Yates did very, very well. And while he's on the book, I feel like they changed the art. They try to soften some of that uh, TNA stuff and bring Kara down. Because let's face it, if you're flying around, a skirt doesn't make sense, especially a very loose, wavy skirt, and even heels on the boot. Seriously, come on. Um, and all in all, like, I love that they gave her tights in the Supergirl series, so she got the skirt. And, and even like we're looking at live action translations, a lot of the way that they were doing Supergirl in this early is what translated to the Smallville version of Supergirl. But Supergirl has a heart, and that's what I really, really come to love more about the character. Is one, she's going to wrestle with the fact that she's an alien and the last of her kind. Two, she's going to wrestle with the stupid oppression that this world puts on women. Okay, because she is a woman, even though she's the most powerful woman, strongest being maybe on the planet, depending on the writer, about if she's more powerful than Superman, back and forth. And I like that there's this dynamic, almost this quiet, which one of us is stronger? Um, but I like that she's younger because she's still vulnerable in her youth. She's out of place, always. In some ways, I think she can relate more with Martian Manhunter than she can with Clark because, Clark is Kryptonian and everything like that, but everything he knows is after the fact, And I love that they're cousins because, growing up, last night, I had one of my cousins found an old picture of a bunch of us. I had 23 first cousins, and we spent a lot of time with each other, holidays, summers, and stuff, growing up tight, and we were all very close. It's only in our latter adult life because of things that we've been separated. But my cousin put this photo up, and it just reminded me of how close we were. Um, and I feel like there's a family there that Clark and Kara have, but at the same time, they're building over from scratch, and it really is a great way of telling stories about bond and blood, and what family means and who family is. I loved later in the Supergirl run when Lana kind of took her under her wing, and I feel like that was a great way of using Lana Lang, because we've seen where Lana has um, really blossomed as a character recently. But I highly recommend the latter, like the Jeff Loeb story is a great story. And then I kind of like, as we touched on the episode, the whole in Candor thing just kind of felt so out of nowhere. And I was like, where am I? But then go find those Sterling Gates stories, and you'll see the appreciation that he has for this character. And as you know, James and I revisit a lot of Supergirl and read stuff that we haven't read, this year. It really shows that she is a great character that has been misused, that gets regulated. And you'll hear me say this again and again. One of the best things I loved about the Supergirl TV show was it found a way to do the symbol, the family symbol, but make just a little tweak to it that it became her symbol without it being like, oh, it's pink, which doesn't make any sense because, if I'm wearing a Superman shirt, it's the house symbol of both of them. So it can be just as easily a Supergirl shirt, when they sell merch. But the way they did that symbol for the Supergirl TV series made it her symbol without taking anything away. And I love that. The Sasha Calle version for the Flash film tried to do something similar, can't talk this morning, but it didn't quite work. But I think the Supergirl run in a whole is really, it's good and it's interesting to sit down and just read an entire, almost decades plus worth of comics. We know how many times there are these crises events or little things that shift, continuity. And those aren't really spelled out when you're reading a trade. So you're reading an issue and then all of a sudden you flip a page and there's different things because outside that run, something else has happened now affecting that run. And I really think that should be notated in the trades for someone who later on, who maybe is just getting into comics and just reading a story about a character, and all of a sudden they're reading stuff that contradicts what they had read, issues back. But I feel like it was a great time for Supergirl stories, but not a great time for the portrayal of how they drew her. And I look forward to reading more Superman. I'm done on my rant. You guys take care. I mean, I'm done. I look forward to reading more Supergirl. And check out the books. Please, please send us your feedback on what you think is going on with these stories, how you feel about these stories, and the importance of Supergirl.
I feel like I'm at that place in my life where I used to know a lot, and now I'm just like, I don't care anymore. I forget stuff.
Right.
The last thing I want to say is,
I don't care about that. Whatever.
the last thing I want to say to everybody is, a year ago about this time, I went back to work after having a major health incident, and just to look out for your friends, check in on them. Mental health is an important thing as well, and we're not guaranteed tomorrow. Just, reach out to someone, say hey, send a text message, let them know that you're thinking about them. Check in on your friends. Let the people that you have around you that you care about, let them know that you genuinely care about them, and it's a good time, okay?
Well said, Tyler. Very well said.
So,
And I appreciate when you check up on me.
I do. James is a rad dude, and both of us have been through some crap recently, and that's life, and it's tough. But remember, everybody,
Look up in the sky!
thank you for checking out the Krypton Report. Please click our link tree in the show notes to follow us on your favorite social media platform. We have a $1 Patreon, just $1 a month to keep us going, and in return, you get exclusive shows and specials. If you want to join us on an episode, send us an email or message.
Hi, this is David Patrick Wilson. I played Superman, Clark Kent, in the television production of It's a Bird, It's a Plane. Enjoying every minute of being right here on the Krypton Report.